Can we all rise for the pledge, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Not nearly as good as the Boy Scouts did the other night in the Cub Scout. We're going to start out with a public hearing for the moratorium on oil storage.
The notice is hereby given that a public hearing of the storage facility and use involving oil storage facilities. A complete copy of the local law is available for inspection upon request, sent to townclerk@philipstown.com, and is also available at the town's website, philipstown.com, dated December 6, 2023, ordered by the town board, Tara K. Percocello, town clerk.
So I'm just going to start out by reading a brief statement. The board has seen the proposed law. The town of Philipstown is in the process of implementing the recommendations and policies set forth in the town's comprehensive plan update. Among the policies and recommendations in the comprehensive plan is safeguarding the town's environmental quality, excuse me, especially the aquifer and environmentally sensitive wetlands and waterways. In order to implement these provisions of the comprehensive plan, the town board is undertaking a general re-examination of the town's land use regulations. It has recently come to the town board's attention that the provisions of the town zoning code allow placement of oil storage facilities of up to 399,000 gallons of petroleum in environmentally sensitive areas. In the context of the broader discussion over potential revisions to the town's land use regulations to better safeguard the town's environmental quality, the town board has decided to specifically review the town code's provision pertaining to oil storage facilities and how to bring those regulations into compliance with the provisions of the town's updated comprehensive plan. To give the town board time to study the matter and develop appropriate revisions to the town code, the town board is considering enacting a temporary moratorium on acceptance, processing, and approval of land use applications for oil storage facilities and uses involving oil storage facilities. So I'll open up the public hearing. I would like to start out with Steve, our attorney, if you could just give us a brief explanation of the process.
Sure. What this particular local law proposes is a 6-month moratorium on land use approvals, acceptance or processing, and of course granting, for oil storage facilities and uses involving oil storage facilities. The moratorium specifically does not apply to single-family and two-family residences or to subdivisions for development of 1- and 2-family residences, because of course residences may require an oil tank either in the ground or in the basement, depending on the circumstances. It also does not apply to any application for development of a multiple dwelling involving an oil storage facility where the storage facility does not exceed 10,000 gallons. So if someone's building an apartment house or something along those lines, condominiums, and they're going to install an oil tank to heat the facility, it wouldn't apply to that. It also does not apply to an oil storage facility, or excuse me, a commercial development where the property at issue, the oil storage facility, is used solely for consumption on site. In other words, you're building a store or some other commercial enterprise and you need to heat it, so you're going to use the oil tank just for that purpose on site. The capacity is the minimum necessary to meet the needs of the structure that's being put up. I wouldn't imagine people would want to put in a bigger tank than they would need, but if they want to fall within this exception, they have to show that they're not overbuilding the tank. And lastly, the oil storage facility tank cannot exceed 10,000 gallons. In addition to those exceptions, the moratorium contains a provision for alleviation of extraordinary hardships. If someone has a development or is proposing a development or has bought property that requires development of an oil storage facility or use involving an oil storage facility, and they meet the criteria for alleviation, a waiver from the moratorium, they can make an application to the town board. Town board will hold a public hearing, and again, if they meet the criteria, they would be exempt from the moratorium. Other than that, during this 6-month period, the board will, and I don't know if you're going to put out an RFP or you're going to do it in-house or what it is, you haven't really discussed it yet. I don't suppose you will until after the moratorium is enacted. Decide how you're going to approach the issues that have been raised regarding oil storage facilities and what changes, if any, should be made to the town code to address the concerns which the board perceives to exist. So the next step is you'll hold the public hearing, take into consideration whatever comments you receive from the public, close the public hearing tonight if it's appropriate, and then you'll go on to enact a resolution, or adopt a resolution, I should say, enacting the moratorium. That will be in place for 6 months. Of course, if you need more time, you can extend the moratorium, but that's something you would revisit down the road to see where you are in your review process.
Well, I would certainly look forward to working with your firm to generate the law. The 10,000 gallon amount didn't come out of the sky. We selected that. I did some research. Haldane School has 5,000 gallons, which is probably one of the bigger buildings in the community. Actually, the rec center had 20,000 gallons in the ground, which we removed those tanks along with a costly spill that was underneath of it, which we had to have cleaned. And we installed, I believe it was a 5,000 gallon tank there, or 10,000. But so that number was not just, pulled out of the sky. We did a little research, and that's what we came up with. So I will open the floor to the public if anybody has anything to say.
Real quick, I
Sure.
just want, all the things you just mentioned, the maximum amount oil contained, they could store would be 10,000 gallons, correct? On
That
all
would be the
what you just
maximum
mentioned.
size of the storage facility, yes.
Right.
Anybody, any on the board?
No, I think it fits in with our comprehensive plan as well, this
Correct.
change, so it's important.
Call on the public. Yes, Ann.
So, I'm Andy Gallo, the chairperson of the Conservation Board. We began to review the site plan that was there, and we're very troubled by it. And I think I can speak for the entire Conservation Board, who are residents of Philipstown, that we're in favor of having a moratorium so it can be studied and look at where oil storage might be tenable and where it's not. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. If you could just give us your name.
Yes, Bettina Utz, I live on East Mountain Road North. I support the proposed local law, and thank you for taking the time to study the impact of such facilities on the environment and the people who live here. We were wondering, actually, several neighbors and I were wondering if we could propose a citizens committee to help with the process, just something to put out there. And wanted to thank you to consider the moratorium, because I think it's really important to study those impacts. A small spill can have very large impact with oil.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Ed Bushak. I live right on the borderline of Fishkill and Cold Spring, and I'm the administrator for the County Line Residents Association.
I think we've spoken.
Yes, we have.
Nice to meet you, phone.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. And so the residents are very much in favor of the moratorium. We think it's very important to protect the environment in that area, and we support the moratorium. And thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Going once? Anyone else? Okay. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. I'm going to suggest we go ahead with a motion to enact the resolution.
What time did they notice the meeting for? 7:30 is the year-end start. Sorry, gotta wait.
All right, no worries.
Yeah, to tell you that I was surprised there's not more people here myself, Yeah, I saw a few letters. Definitely thought we do, yeah. Yeah, no, I understand, because I went to the site visit that day. I was on the liaison for the planning board, and there was about 50, 60 people there, So I expected at least 15 or so here this evening. But I understand people's schedules and things change, and,
So we'll meet at 7:30, I guess, so we can hang out here and look at each other.
Yeah, in the future, what you should do if you have 7 o'clock is notice the meeting and have the public hearing the first time. Then you can proceed right ahead.
we learned something immediately following afterwards.
Sorry.
Since we've got time, I'm going to make a quick comment, which is just I really do want to thank Supervisor Van Tassel for leadership on this issue when it came up. I mean, I just think, thank you to that, and I think we all know we're on the Hudson River. We're a Hudson River community, so all of our waterways dump into the Hudson River. Many of us have wells as our drinking water, so having that scale of oil storage as a Hudson River community dumping water into the Hudson and into our drinking water is worrisome. So it makes sense we've got this moratorium, and I think based on that moratorium, don't we also have 2 additional 6-month moratoriums if needed as we study the issue?
You can't just extend it to extend it. You have to actually be working on it and say we need more time.
Yeah.
You understand? And
Yeah.
I'm sure the board will dive into this in the new year.
Our attorney turns stuff over like that.
On that note, can I turn over my car? Or you want me to stick around for the?
Probably. You're welcome to leave, Steve. I don't see any issue. Thank you. Have a safe trip back. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Steve, have a good holiday season. No planning board this month?
Well, you may have one more meeting this month. You got to talk about that.
Yes, we will. Yep.
I'm going to go get the
Yeah, you can go on. Yep.
Yeah,
Please.
everyone can leave, you don't need to stay.
We need to do the pledge again. We did it once already this evening. So we'll go right into the agenda. Actually, I'm sorry. We have approval of minutes first. Workshop meeting of November 15th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And I vote aye. Workshop meeting of November 22nd, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. On to the agenda.
First is a resolution enacting local law number 3, 2023, imposing a 6-month moratorium on the land use approvals for development of oil storage facilities and the use involving oil storage facilities, and it's a roll call vote.
So I will read the resolution. It says, whereas the town board has before it a proposed local law entitled, "A Local Law Establishing a 6-Month Moratorium on Acceptance, Processing, or Approval of Applications for Land Use Approvals for Oil Storage Facilities and Uses Involving Oil Storage Facility." And whereas the following due notice, the town board held a public hearing on the proposed local law. Now therefore it be resolved as the follows. The town board does hereby adopt the local law, and 2, that the said local law shall be effective immediately and shall be filed in the office of the Secretary of State in Albany as required by law. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote. Councilwoman Cotter is absent. Councilman Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilman Angel.
Aye.
Councilwoman Farrell.
Aye.
And I vote aye. So it's approved 4-0. Thank you.
Second is a resolution authorizing Supervisor Van Tassel Supervisor Van Tassel to make the necessary budget transfers to close the books of the 2023.
Thank you, so this is just a standard operation that we use to balance books, switching accounts, monies within our own accounts in the same lines to balance budgets. So can I get a motion to do that?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
The next is a resolution authorizing Supervisor Van Tassel to sign the outreach workers workers services contract between Putnam County Office for Senior Resources and the Town of Philipstown for the year 2024.
So we have questioned this before, but there is an outreach worker. I've seen the vehicle around the village on a number of occasions. Actually, I'm pretty sure I know who the person is, but they are in town and they are working for us. So, and it does specifically identify hours and rates and so on and so forth. So can I get a motion to continue this agreement with Putnam County?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. We're keeping you up.
A little bit. You know, I think I'm going to reach out to the, is it Michael office and just
Yep,
find the name,
absolutely.
find the contact
Yep.
number and what their hours are, just so we
Absolutely.
can post that.
They've been continually inviting me to a luncheon. If you'd like to attend the luncheon for me, I mean, you're
get that
close to a
info.
senior.
You could probably stop over to Senior Center
Yeah,
right
he's
here and
probably
find that
there.
information out.
I'll find that out, then I'll report it back. So
Appreciate
we
it.
have
Thank
that,
you.
yeah.
Next up,
Resolution accepting the proposal and authorizing Supervisor Van Tassel to sign said proposal for legal services from Thomas, Drohan, Waxman, Petigrow, and Mayle LLP as counsel to the Town of Philipstown to serve at the pleasure of the Town Board. Compensation at the rate of $235 per hour for attorneys and $110 per hour for paralegal services for 2024.
so this law firm specializes in employee personnel issues and human resources. We are represented very well by Melissa Knapp. She's a brilliant woman and works very well with the Town of Philipstown. So my appreciation to them. Can I get a motion to hire the firm Thomas, Drohan, Waxman, Petigrow, and Mayle LLP?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
I mean, we don't really use them on a lot of services either. It's
It's only
as needed.
Personnel
Yes,
services.
yes, so it's not much.
Next is a resolution authorizing Supervisor Van Tassel to sign the agreement between the Town of Philipstown and the Putnam County Humane Society for the provision of dog shelter services for the year of 2024.
So we have a dog control officer in the town, and they need a place to bring dogs when we capture them. So this, I look back as far as I saw in my budgets back to 2021, and it's the same number, $10,500. So can I get a motion to sign agreement with Putnam County Humane Society for the provision of the dog shelter services for 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Next is the scheduling workshop meetings.
Right, so we do have a couple things I'd like to discuss. So, we're in the process of working out the intermunicipal agreement with the Village of Cold Spring to assist us with the Garrison Landing Water District testing. We're close. I've met twice with the mayor and Matt Krug and Ron Gaynor. Matt went to the facility the other day. He had a walkthrough by our current provider, who has been cooperative with information. He's also said he will continue to assist us if we have any questions. So we need to get this in place by midnight on New Year's Eve. So I'm going to schedule for next Wednesday at 7:30, or we can do 7. So let's do 7 to 7 work better?
It's actually difficult for me because I'm traveling early the next morning and I have family coming in from out
Okay,
of
so
town.
7 would be better, or earlier, or?
Earlier. as
Okay,
early
so
as
let's shoot for
possible.
7. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be anything contested. The IMA is prepared, we just got to plug in dollar figures. We need to finalize the agreement with the village, so as long as we get our side done, we can get the testing started. So that's something we need to schedule for next week.
So that's the 20th. Is that the right?
20th.
At 7,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
I apologize for so close to Christmas, but we are in this situation, and we need to work it out. The other things we have is the reorg meeting January 4th, the regular meeting January 4th. One starts at 7, one's at 7:30. We have a public hearing on January 10th about the fire and EMS exemptions for service on your taxes. We also have a public hearing that evening about Hudson Valley Shakespeare Festival zoning code change requests. So, anything else from the board? No. We did have a major leak at the recreation center yesterday. We were able to get into the pit for the tower and isolate it to the rec center. We found the pipe today. It's a 6-inch water main that goes around the back. Actually, the fish mansion was built before the rec center. So the line goes down the driveway on the left to the fish mansion and the hydrant, and then it's teed and comes over and comes into the back of the rec center. So right underneath of the sidewalk, when you go out the back door, the water was pouring up from both sides. The highway department went down and dug. We were able to get Matt Krug from the Village of Cold Spring to come down with his listening device and locate where the line was. And of course, it was directly underneath of the sidewalk, so the sidewalk had to be demolished. So we're gonna have some repair work to do in the spring. I mean, I don't think we can do it now because it'll need to settle. It's gonna- We'll put some gravel in there. And then Downey was able to install it's basically like a big radiator clamp that goes around these steel pipes. And it sealed it, and the water's back on as of the 7th. So we were without water for about a 24-hour period. So I believe they're going to reschedule events. They canceled events for today and this evening, but I think they're going to be back open. But I'm sure it's on the website for the rec center whether programs are happening or not.
I heard the pickleball players were very sad.
Sorry, pickleball players. But they needed bathrooms. Pickleball players need bathroom, and without water, we couldn't do it. So I apologize to that, but it is what it is. So, and I know we had to close preschool and after-school programs.
Well, you have to have water to be open.
You got to have water, not only for bathrooms, but fire suppression. So, so we're back in business. Anything else from the board?
And thank you to Supervisor Van Tassel, who was on site and actually climbing fences, and trying to find the leak.
Yeah, we couldn't find the key, so we had no choice. I said, this is going to be terrible. If I get stuck on the top of this fence and have to call the fire department, this isn't going to look good. You can see me hanging there from the, but we got it. Then Tim found the key, thankfully. So. But other than that, I'm good. You guys set? Good? All right. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And I vote aye. Thank you all for coming up.